back again. Welcome to the mat. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Close your eyes, turn in, and bring your attention to your breath. Long, slow breath deep into your belly. And longer, slower breath out. And twice more. And we'll open with 3 ohms. Exhale. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Open your eyes, release your hands. And my word of the day is the word of the day that I sent out to you earlier on WhatsApp. So here's what I said earlier. In a world that asks us to distance ourselves one from the other, we risk being afraid, we risk being lonely, we miss being connected to those that we love and those who are nearest and dearest. And then in this class and out in the world, recognizing that we're all part of a deeper connection, a deeper essence, that we come out of this deeper essence, we live through it, and eventually we'll go back to home, to that deeper essence, that place of connection. And once we realize that that's there, we can then deal with those fears of isolation, of loneliness, of not having a plan for tomorrow, of being out of control, because we're absolutely powerless in the situation that we're in at the minute. So, but thing is, it's a game. We remember, we forget. We remember, we forget. So we react to situation. We feel in a moment of panic. What's going to happen to my business? What's going to happen to my family? What's going to happen to my parent? Whatever. And then we remember, actually, it's all okay. Just as it is and just as it is not. So that's the wonderful thing about this. So this practice will be about reconnecting to that essence within ourselves. So Sunday evening, nice easy practice. I'm going to start off lying on your back. So coming in straight into bridge pose. If you have a block, place it under the lower part of your back, or get 2 books and prop them up one on top of the other, place those under your back. And then if you have 2 blocks, place the other block between your knees. So you're hugging your knees into the block, yeah? You can have your knees either hip width apart or closer together, yogi's choice, whatever feels good for you. So come and lie on your back, bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips, and then slide that block in underneath you, just under your sacrum, and then place your other block between your knees hip width apart, and press down with your feet into the floor. And we're just going to relax here for a moment, which feels really nice on a Sunday evening. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling. If you have a block between your knees, keep squeezing your knees towards each other. Keep squeezing your knees towards each other anyways. Keep pressing your heels into the floor. Lengthen your tailbone away from the crown of your head. Press the back of your head into the floor. And now release your hips to the floor, slide the block out to one side. Remove the block between your legs if you've got a block between your legs. Bring both knees together. Bring your knees into your chest. Roll to your left-hand side and allow your knees to come to the floor. Stretch your right arm out behind you. Look back towards your right hand arm by lifting your head off the floor, turning it and placing it back on the floor. And just allow your right shoulder to come to the floor. If your right arm hand is sort of up in the air, you can bring it closer to your body, but turn your palm up or bend your elbow. And just allow your shoulder blades to come onto the mat. Relaxing, releasing, letting go. Inhale, bring your knees into your chest, roll onto your back and roll all the way over onto the other side. Moving with your breath, bring your knees to the floor. Knees bent, stretch your backhand arm out behind you, look back towards your backhand arm and then let go into the pose. Just release, soften, sink down on the floor. Allow your shoulder blades to come onto the floor. Inhale, come back to center. And then just hug your knees in. So recline child's pose. And just bring them right into your chest. And then gently move from side to side, massaging the muscles on either side of your spine. You're not rocking too far in either direction. And just feels pretty good. At the end of the day, maybe your back is tightened up a little bit. Maybe you've been playing football all day, Sam. Your hamstrings are tight. It feels good. And from here, we're coming into recline big toe. If you have a strap, grab a strap or grab a tie or a belt. Curl your right knee into your chest. Loop the strap over the sole of your foot and just stretch your heel up towards the ceiling. Press the back of your knee away from you. Press the back of the other knee into the floor and then draw that leg towards you. Arms straight, pushing up through your heels in both legs. Engage your quads. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Press the back of your knee away from you, of the leg that's stretched up towards the ceiling. Bend your knee, release that leg to the floor. And curl your left knee in. Slip the strap over your left foot, stretch your heel up. Press through your heel up towards the ceiling. Press through the heel of the other leg that's stretched out on your mat. Press the back of your thigh towards the floor. Press the other thigh away from you. Press your lower back into the floor. Invite your shoulders onto your back and draw the leg towards you. and gently release. And place your strap off to one side. And then coming in to thread the needle, the first bit of thread the needle. So bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips on the floor. Lift your right foot and bring the outside edge of your right foot to the top of your left knee. Then, keeping that, roll over onto your left hip, bring the right sole to the floor. Then hold your knee with your left hand and stretch your right arm out behind you. Look behind you towards your right hand. Press your right foot into the floor. Press your lower back into the floor. Inhale, come back to center. And switch your legs. Place your right foot on the floor. Lift your left foot, press the outside edge of your left foot on top of your right knee. Roll onto your right hip. Bring your left sole of your foot to the floor. Stretch your left hand out behind you. Look towards your left hand. Press your lower back into the floor. You can hold your right knee your left knee or your left ankle with your right hand. And release that and just feel the sensations in your hips. Just windshield your knees back and forth for a minute after those big hip openers. And come and make your way up to sitting. If you have one of these or something like it that you can sit up a little bit so that you're not curving your spine, it enables you to sit up straight. And you're holding your ankles together, pressing the soles of your feet towards each other. If you have a block, place your feet up on a block or on a book. So you're like that. So your heels are higher than your hips. And then just sit up straight. Press the soles of your feet together. And release and come and kneel up with your toes turned under. Place the blocks out of your way. Inner knees together, inner ankles, sit back in your heels, bring your hands as if in prayer. Engage your core, turn your sit bones up, move your ears back, lift your gaze, sit down into your heels. Making your way into 8-angle pose. Walk your hands forward, walk your knees back. Cobra arms, lower your chest to the floor, your chin to the floor. Turn your toes under, lift your hips up. Point forearms vertical, point your elbows towards the ceiling. Gaze straight ahead. Bring your whole attention to your breath. then slide your legs back behind you and come up onto your elbows. Clasp your hands together, interlace your fingers. Flare your toes, press the tops of your feet into the floor, press elbows under shoulders, lift, press down with your elbows into the floor, broaden across your collarbones, move your ears back. Tighten your glutes slightly. And moving into locust, arms by your sides, turn your palms up, squeeze your heels together. Keeping your feet on the floor, flare your toes. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Roll your shoulders back. Engage your quads, tighten your glutes, lift your shoulders 5% higher. And release and bring the side of your face to the floor and rest. And stretch your arms out in front of you, hands shoulder width apart, point palms towards each other. Lift your right arm and your left leg off the floor. Stretch them forward, stretch your left leg back. Come up onto the outside edge of your left hand, lift your elbow off the floor, gaze straight ahead. Press the top of your back foot into the floor, your right foot, lift your knee off the floor. And release and switch to the other side. Left arm off the floor, right foot off the floor. Press down with your left foot into the floor and lift your knee. And press down with the outside edge of your right hand, arm, and lift your elbow. And stretch your front fingers forward, your right toes back. And bring the other side of your face to the floor and just rest. And then into superhero, lift everything off the floor. Legs off the floor, arms off the floor. Squeeze your legs together. Head and shoulders off the floor. Breathing. And release. And moving into down dog. Hands wider than shoulders. Turn your toes under and lift your hips up as high as you can. So externally rotate your upper arms, grip the floor with your fingertips. Feet together, more difficult, more doable. Feet hip width apart. And then lifting your hips high, invite your heels to come towards the floor. Keep externally rotating your upper arms. Walk your hands to your feet and stand up. Coming into mountain. So feet hip width apart. Root down with the four corners of your feet into the floor. Squeeze your shins in, engage your quads. Stretch from your hips to your armpits. Broaden across your collarbones. Stretch arms down, stretch fingers down. Move your ears back. And then stand as tall as you can and lift your gaze. Make your way to the back of your mat and moving into high lunge. Place your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Take a big step forward with attitude and intention with your right foot and lift your back heel off the floor. Lift your head, look up. Stretch, front knee should be over your heel, over your ankle. Lift the back of your back knee up. Lift your chest up. Look up. And pivot to the back of the mat. Turn your left foot in, turn your right foot out. No, turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out, I should say. And then bend your front knee, sink down. Front knee over ankle. Back heel up to vertical. Lift the back of your back knee up. Lift your head, look up. Engage your core. And release and step your feet together. From here we move into power pose. Lift your arms overhead, hands shoulder width apart, point palms in, bend your knees, lower your hips, sink down, gaze straight ahead. Press down, stand up, and we're moving into crescent pose. Crescent pose, lift your arms up, bring your palms together, and just hold them together rather than interlacing your fingers. Move your hips to the right, your torso to the left, stretch arms up. Be as sideways as possible, root down equally with both feet into the floor. Inhale, come back up to center and switch to the other side. And release. And I'm just going to slip my jumper off because it's getting warm here. I'm moving summit pose with arms, with hands interlaced. Inhale, lift your arms up, clasp your hands together, turn your palms up, move your arms into the back plane, root down, look up. Press the index hand and the index fingers up towards the ceiling. And release. From here, we'll move into crescent with leg lifted. So inhale, lift your arms up once more and point your index finger. Shift your weight onto your left foot, stretch your right leg out to the side. More doable, toes on the floor, more difficult, toes off the floor. Be as sideways as possible over your right leg. And release and switch to the other side. Shift your weight onto your right foot, lift your left leg out to the side, and then either on or off the floor, and be as sideways as possible over the left leg. Should be leaning over the leg that's lifted off the floor. Inhale and come back up, release your arms down. And we're moving into eagle arms. Lift your left arm and wrap the right underneath, or simply bring your elbows together. And then lift your elbows up and lift your gaze. Root down firmly with both feet into the floor. Squeeze your shins in. Press your tailbone down, engage your core. Move your ears back. and release, and switch to the other side. Lift your right arm up and wrap the left underneath and hug the midline. And release. From here, walk to the back of the mat. Move into high lunge again, lift your arms up, step forward with your right foot, and then this time lower your hands to the floor, either side of your front foot. Lift your back knee up as high as you can, lift your head, come up onto the tops of your fingers, knee over ankle, stretch your front knee away from your back heel. And switch feet, front foot back, back foot forward. Place your hands either side of your front foot, lift the back of your back knee up, front knee over ankle. And then switch legs again, front foot back, back foot forward. Walk both hands on the ankle side of your front foot, then walk them forward. So in down dog lunge, allow your head to drop back towards your back foot. And then taking your weight on your left hand, lift your right hand either to your hip or up to vertical. Roll your right ribs back, your right shoulder back, lift your head, look up, lift your chest. Lower your hand and switch feet. Front foot back, back foot forward. Place your hands down dog lunge, walk them forward, drop your head, look back towards your back foot. And take your weight, place your weight on your right hand and lift your left arm up, look up. The back of your back knee up, stretch your front knee away from your back heel. Roll your ribs back, lift your chest, look up, allow your head to come back. Lower that hand, switch feet again, front foot back, back foot forward. Lower down onto your elbows, interlace your fingers. If you can't get your elbows to the floor, put them on the block. Back knee off the floor, more difficult, or back knee on the floor, more doable, yogi's choice. Stretch your front knee away from your back heel. Back heel up to vertical if your knee is off the floor. And switch feet. Front foot back, back foot forward. Lower down onto your elbows. Clasp your hands. And release, and come onto your hands and knees. And come into child's pose, knees wide apart, sit back in your heels, walk your hands forward, come up onto the tops of your fingers. Sinking down on your heels, lift your elbows up. And release. And make your way onto your hands and knees. On your hands and knees, come into cat-cow. Hands wider than shoulders, knees under hips. Exhale, round your back up. Allow your head to drop. Lift your belly up as high as you can. And then moving with your breath. Inhale. Lift your head, look up. Melt your heart. Sink down between your shoulder blades. Exhale, round up. Inhale, sink down. Exhale, round up. Inhale, sink down. And keep that going. 5 rounds. Coming back to a place of stillness, moving into Southpaw Tiger. So turn your hands so that your fingers are pointing back towards your knees. You feel quite a bit of a stretch on your wrists if you haven't done it for a while. And then shift your weight onto your left knee and lift your right leg up behind you, flex and point it. Lift your gaze. And release and switch to the other side. Lift your left leg up behind you, flex and point it. And making our way into pigeon. Walk your right knee forward and invite your right foot to come forward as well so that the front of your shin is sort of parallel to the front of your mat. Walk your back leg back behind you, torso upright, and then hands either side of your front knee, sort of wider than shoulder width apart. Press the top of your back foot into the floor, flare your toes. Lift your chest up, stretch your spine. And switch to the other side. Front foot back, front knee back. Left knee forward. Walk your back leg back behind you. Sink down. Walk your hands back. Be as upright as you can. And make your way all the way down into the floor. Come down into Cobra. So arms by your sides, forearms vertical. Squeeze your heels together. And then keeping your feet on the floor, lift your hands a couple of inches off the floor, keeping your forearms vertical, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Squeeze your legs together. Now place your hands coming through the gateway of your arms, keeping your forearms vertical. Inhale, press the tops of your feet into the floor, squeeze your shins in, your inner thighs, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Press the tops, flare your toes, move your ears back. Tighten your glutes, squeeze your heels together. And release. Come back onto your hands and knees. And coming into tiger, right arm out in front, left leg out behind. And release and switch to the other side. Left leg, left arm out in front, right leg out behind, flex and pointed. And release. And coming into half frog. You can do this lying on your belly or you can do it standing up. So bring your left forearm across the front of your body. Reach back, clasp your right ankle and pivot your hand on top of your foot so your fingers are pointed forward or not. Simply clasp your ankle. And squeeze your knees as close as you can together. Bring your heel to your hip. Press down with your left elbow into the floor. Press your left foot into the floor. Lift your left knee off the floor. Gaze straight ahead. Press through your right knee. And release and switch to the other side. Shift your weight onto your right elbow and bend your left knee and clasp your foot. Pivot your hand if you can. Squeeze your heel towards your hip, knees together. Press down with your right elbow into the floor. Press your right foot into the floor. Lift your knee off the floor. Push through your left knee. Point your left elbow at the ceiling. And gently release. And then we're coming into one leg bow. So place your left elbow on the floor. Reach back with your right hand. Clasp your right ankle. Lift your right knee off the floor. As high as you can. And release. And then one-legged bow on the other side. Clasp your ankle and lift your knee off the floor. And release. And of course you can guess what's coming next. Full bow pose. What you're going to do is you're going to roll over onto one side and then roll over onto the other side. So clear space either side of you that you can roll over. Bend your knees. Bring your heels into your hips, clasp your ankles. Squeeze your knees together. Kick your heels up and back, lift your knees off the floor. Externally rotate your upper arms, broaden across the collarbones. Keep lifting your knees up, keep squeezing them together. And then roll to your right and come into sideways bow. So it's a lovely way to get a great arch in your back without fighting against gravity. So move your ears back, broaden across your collarbones. Bring your head to meet your toes in an ideal world. And gently release. And then you're going to roll all the way over onto the other side. Move your ears back, squeeze your knees together. Come back to center. And bring both hands under your head and just rest under your forehead. Stretch your legs out. And moving into king pigeon, place your arms in cobra arms. Forearms are vertical. Bend your knees. Point your toes towards the ceiling. Knees on the floor. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Come through the gateway of your arms. Move your ears back. Tighten your glutes. And release. And come back into bridge pose. Come and line your backs. Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips, this time without the block. Place your heels, walk your arms in underneath, shrug your shoulders together, walk your feet back. Make sure your toes are not turned out. Press down with your heels into the floor, float your hips up, keep shrugging your shoulders together. Press your head into the floor, lift your chin out of your chest. And release your arms out and then just roll your spine down vertebrae by vertebrae. Should feel pretty good. And come into constructive rest. Walk your feet out to the long edges of the mat. Allow your knees to come together. Place your hands palm down on your lower abdomen. Thumbs pointing towards navel. Index fingers pointing towards pubic bone. And just relax. From here, we're moving into Tibetan Weaponry 2. You'll be delighted to hear. So bring your knees into your chest and clasp the big toe of your left foot with the first two fingers of your left hand. And clasp your ankle of your right foot with your right hand. Roll over onto your left hand side. Stretch your left leg out. And then bring your heel to your hip behind you. And then endeavor to get your shoulders on the floor. Roll your right shoulder back, your right ribs back. And then look back behind you. Press through your outstretched left leg, engage the quad. Make your right foot active. Invite that right knee closer to the floor. And gently release. And bring both knees into your chest. Again, and clasp the right toe with the first two fingers of your right hand by bringing your arm between your legs. Roll over onto your right hip, right side, and place your left hand on top of your left ankle. Bring that left leg behind you. your heel towards your hip. Stretch your right leg out in front of you. Keeping all that, lift your head off the floor, turn back, turn and look behind you. Press through your right leg, engage in the quad, make your left foot active, invite that left knee closer to the floor. Invite your shoulders onto your back and invite your back onto the floor. You can also use a strap for this. Should have said that at the start. Okay, let's come and kneel up. And coming into runner's lunge. Stretch your right leg out in front of you and slightly out to the right. Turn your toes up. And then inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. And place your hands on the floor or on blocks. Press through your right heel. Engage your quad. Turn your toes up. And just hinging forward. Keep drawing that right hip back. Press the top of the left foot into the floor. Flare the toes. And make your way out of that and switch to the other side. Stretch your left leg out, slightly out to the left. Turn out over your left leg. Turn your toes up. Inhale, lift your arms up. And exhale and hinge forward and place your hands either side of your front foot. So we expand before we contract. Press through your heel, turn your toes up. Engage your quads. Hinging forward. As you breathe out, you're softening. Softening into the unique you that there is in the world. But in your uniqueness, you're connected. Everything is connected to you, and you are connected to everything else. So you're not on your own. Inhale, come back to center. And come and lie down and bring your feet into double diamond. Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips on the floor. And walk your knees out to the long edges of the mat. And allow your knees to come down towards the left. And then either stay here or lift the outside edge of your left foot and place it on top of your right knee, just to invite that right knee closer to the floor. Make goalposts of your arms. And then the last thing you do is turn your head and look away from your knees. Place it back on the floor. And just soften and let go. Inhale, come back to center and switch to the other side. Allow your knees to come down to the right and lift the outside edge of your right foot and place it on top of your left knee. Or not, you can choose not to. And then look away from your knees. And release. And one final pose. Come into happy baby. Bring your knees into your chest. Clasp the outside edges of your feet. Turn the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. Front shin vertical. And then press down on the soles of your feet. Press your lower back into the floor. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. And bring both knees into your chest, bring them together, and give yourself the most delicious, loving, comforting hug. And turn into that, drop into that place of peace and quiet. And now make your way into relaxation. You want to put on something to get you warm, get a blanket, and we're in relaxation for the next few minutes. Willing to experience aloneness, I discover connection everywhere. Turning to face my fear, I meet the warrior who lives within. Opening to my loss, I gain the embrace of the universe. Surrendering into emptiness, I find fullness without end. Each condition I flee from pursues me. Each condition I welcome transforms me. And becomes itself transformed into its radiant, jewel-like radiance. I bow to the one who has made it so, who has crafted this master game to play its purest delight, to honor its form through devotion. Begin to deepen your breathing. Bring your attention back to your body, to your breathing, to being on the mat. And if you like, start to awaken your body by moving your hands and feet, or perhaps you want to stay there. That's fine. Bend your knees, roll to one side, and make your way back to sitting. One last time, turn in. To honor ourselves, each other, the practice, we close with one Om. Exhale, inhale. Om. Thanks for practicing. Thanks for coming to practice, and see you on the mat.